So last Saturday I participated in the 24-hour readathon, the Dewey readathon. It was Saturday the 22nd for me, from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock Sunday morning. So I didn't read for the whole 24 hours, but it was a fun experiment. I had a lot of fun chatting with people on Instagram and just seeing what everybody was up to, what everybody was reading, how they were reading their books, walking around, audiobooks. I read a little bit at home, at coffee shops, and I always had something to eat. Apparently for me, reading and eating go together. It was a lot of fun, and I had prepared a list of books that I wanted to read during that day. I didn't get to the whole list, but I was quite proud of myself since I didn't read for the whole 24 hours. I live with children and my brother, my sister-in-law, everyone, and we had a family supper with my mom at night. So, a lot of things going on, and I didn't want to just say, no, I'm not available for 24 hours. I wanted to have fun with my family as well. So anyway, I'm gonna just do a quick review of all the books that I read during that readathon. I will not do a complete review on each. Some of them don't deserve it, and maybe for others I'll try to do a separate video about that. So I chose two graphic novels. I thought that this would go like super fast. I was so wrong. So this first one, The Beats, I Instagrammed about it when I bought it in San Francisco at the City Lights, City Lights bookstore. So The Beats about this art movement, literature mostly, movement from the 50s, 60s. So a graphic history. So Jack Kerouac was part of this movement. I had heard the name before, The Beats or Beatnik and all that, but I didn't really know what it was all about. And so that was very interesting to learn a bit more about this movement. But the book is drawn and written by a lot of people, so every time you start a new story you have to get used to a new way of presenting it, and that would threw me off a little bit when I read the book, and that's why it took me like 2 hours and a half to read it, because every time I had to get acquainted with a new presentation, and apparently I'm not a very adaptable person. So there you go. That was fun. And the other one, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I wanted like a steampunk themed graphic novel. So, I think that's a very basic one, and it was fun. It was fun. That's it. The other one that I read that I really enjoyed is The Memoir by Felicia Day. You're never weird on the internet, almost. I find it super funny when people who are like 30 years old write memoirs, but that was fun. I really like Felicia Day. I've been a big fan of The Guild. I do follow her channel on YouTube, Geek and Sundry, as she says. I like watching her streams about video gaming, also online. So I really like her. I'm a big fan of Supernatural. I was a big fan of Buffy. So of course I read this book. It was super interesting, super funny, a quick read. I read it during the night. I thought that this would be exactly what I needed to keep awake. So that was great. I will not do a separate review about it. If you like her, read it. If you don't like her, if you don't know her, leave it alone. And one book in French. So Josip Novakovich. Actually, this book is translated. I thought it was a francophone book, but not at all. The guy lives in Montreal, but I think it's just because he teaches at Concordia or McGill. I don't know. So Trois morts et une vie, 3 deaths and 9 lives. So a couple of short stories. Apparently there's also an autobiography in one of these stories. I don't know. It's very difficult to find which are the fictions, which one is truth. Fun, interesting. It was okay. It's about the deaths in the family, in the Croatian family, after the Cold War, and yeah, so okay. And then there's the last one, the last short story, which is about a cat that has not been and he goes around and he's very aggressive and tries to have sex with all the cat ladies he can find, and he has a very short life, but it seems to be a fun life, and maybe that's the message we should get from that book. I don't know. And then the last one, for which I will probably do a separate video, so it's Toni Morrison Home. I've been meaning to read that book for a very long time. I've had it for years, maybe not years, not maybe years, in my on my bookshelves. So yeah, so Toni Morrison, I really enjoyed this little book. I usually like Toni Morrison. I like her style. I like the stories, the simplicity of the stories, but with very complex issues. But it's always very easy and fun to read. My thing was sliding, maybe just to get even closer to Toni Morrison. I don't know. So really enjoyed this book. And I will do a separate video about it. So that's pretty much it for my books from this year's readathon. I will participate in more if I can in the future, but for now, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.